Bad guys reform, good guys forget what they're fighting for. It's just how it works.
Cecil Steadman, the unwavering director of the GDA in Invincible. Who is he, and why is he so amazing? Now, a lot of people would hear that last part I said, Cecil is amazing, and a lot of people wouldn't agree with that. But what would you do to complete the world's hardest job? What does it mean to want to save the world, but also be the thing you hate the most? Because see, we can be the good guys, or we can save the world, but we can't be both. And who said that to Cecil? Director Radcliffe, the Cecil before Cecil. And in his backstory in season 3, we see that Cecil is just a reflection of Mark. He's a gentleman that doesn't want to profit off the bodies and the blood of others. He didn't want to work with Force Fist and Knuckle Buster because who were they beforehand? Terrorists, bioterrorists at that. People who actually cost Cecil his upper layer of skin and muscle. A nasty reminder of the 17 lives lost the day at that market. Cecil wears it on his face. And what did he do the second he saw that Force Fist and Knuckle Buster, sorry, their names are so irrelevant. What did he do when he saw that the director was using them again? Put a bullet in both their foreheads. Now, when you live in a world of superhumans and this is all you have, things become different. They're in a different light, right? But Cecil still wanted to be a good man, and he still wants to care for the people of the American population and the rest of the world. This is a man who is burdened by the weight of guilt and a man who has to do the hard thing every day. I don't think Cecil gets a day off in the entire show. Whereas Mark wants a couple days off here and there, Cecil, after the events of season 2, he does not give them to him. He said, those days are over, pal. And why is that? Because, again, it goes back to that quote. You can help save the world, or you can be a good guy. You can't do both. Cecil does save the world on the regular. He directs the Guardians of the Globe in tandem with Invincible to stop that monster ship from Mars with the Sequids. Obviously, they didn't do the best job, but they did stop the world from imminent doom. When he figured out that Omni-Man murdered the Guardians of the Globe, why didn't he let Damien Darkblood go and just accuse Omni-Man outright? Because he had to figure out why Omni-Man did it. Because there's a greater scheme to Omni-Man's machinations. Cecil's not stupid, and he's not foolish either. There's only one thing he did wrong, which we will get to at the end of the video. But right now I want to highlight Cecil's weakness. See, Cecil's weakness is control. Anything he can't control is an issue to him. And there are times in the show where I genuinely wish that he would just relax, because there are times where he could have relaxed. For example, when Immortal quit, he was like, you can't quit, Immortal. And, you know, he forces him to go on the vacation. But really, it was Immortal quitting, because Immortal got brought back because of a freaking doofus named Multi-Paul was the brother of Duplicate, right? That was coincidence, not circumstance, really. And Cecil got lucky that Immortal came back. A couple more bad things Cecil did, among other things, you know, recording the noise from the Deep Dweller to hurt Invincible with later. Now, obviously, this isn't the best thing because it's actually a good thing. It's going to sound crazy, I know, but the bad thing he did was putting the chip in Mark's head. And we're going to talk about the rest of that in a little bit. But the good thing about that is now they can hurt other Viltrumites. That's a good thing. That is objectively a good thing. If your job, which Cecil's job is to save the world, you want that on your side. Now, let's talk about a couple more other questionable things he did, such as hiring D.A. Sinclair, reinstituting Darkwing, and spying on Debbie consistently and consistently offering to take Oliver. All those things are objectively bad, and I don't really agree with all of them, especially the reuse of the Reanimen. Now, starting with that, it's genuinely reprehensible, and he even says so himself when D.A. Sinclair is like, murmur, murmur, and he's like, shut up. I feel dirty just even talking to you. And it does go to show. It doesn't show enough, because remember when Cecil used the Hail Mary on Omni-Man, that big old kaiju monster with the shockingly buck teeth? That thing fucked Omni-Man up left, right, and upside down, right? And see, I mean, honestly, it would have killed Omni-Man if Invincible wasn't there, and I guess maybe Eve wasn't there to run some interference, and a couple other factors, but realistically, that thing was chumping Omni-Man. Now, I don't know what they were going to do afterwards. That's for damn sure. They juiced it up with every enhancement imaginable. It does not seem like they could have fixed it and reined it in after. Like, if it killed Omni-Man and Invincible, the Guardians aren't stopping that thing, right? So that was a little bit of an oversight. But in my opinion, using the Hail Mary wasn't necessarily the worst idea, because Omni-Man did prove Cecil to be right, that he should have never trusted him, that he should have always had that paranoia about Omni-Man. The main reason why I brought up the Hail Mary, though, is there's a very key moment when Debbie is asking him to call off the Hail Mary, and he says he can't. And the reason why he can't is even if it kills Mark, it will probably kill Omni-Man, and that's why he can't do it. And Debbie looks down and she shakes and she says, "That's why I've always hated you, Cecil." And Cecil goes, "Yeah, that's why I hate me too." Let's reflect on that for a second, because hating yourself despite doing your job still, this is the job that makes you hate yourself. But you love the world so much that you still want to take care of it. Let's go back to Cecil's backstory really quick. 17 people died in that alley. He permanently chose to scar himself as a reminder that he fucked up because 17 people died that day. He told the director, yeah, you know, more people could have died, sure, but say that to the family of those 17 people, right? What happened when the Flaxans first invaded Earth, right? The first time, 338 people died. He told Rex to shut the hell up because there was nothing to celebrate because 338 people died. So remember it forever, ingrain it in your brain now. As of Invincible Season 3, Episode 3, I don't need to go any further than that because this is just what I want to talk about now. Cecil is a good guy. He's not a morally good guy. He's not a morally straight guy. He follows unethical justice, which, if you're a fan of One Piece, and this is a One Piece channel, so you're going to have to deal with it for a second. The Marine Vice Admirals and all the Marine Admirals in One Piece carry a symbol on their back. This is Garp's. This one might just say regular justice, but Garp's justice recently was revealed for my justice. So Garp is a guy that's kind of like the Omni-Man of One Piece, but not evil and does not hurt people. But he chose to follow his sense, and he had the strength to do it the whole series. Garp sat there and watched his son get murdered by his colleagues, his co-workers, on a Tuesday, because Garp had to follow his justice. He could have saved them. It's revealed later on that he could have easily saved Ace with a flick of a finger, just one galaxy impact, and it would have been over. Let's go to Cecil. If Cecil was a One Piece Vice Admiral or whatever type of Marine, I genuinely believe his justice would be unethical justice. Why is that? Because Cecil will do whatever it takes to keep the planet safe. I genuinely believe that he is a good person. I don't think that he is, again, a morally correct person, but I think he knows that in a world where Omni-Men can snap at a moment's notice, in a world where Duplicate is banging Immortal in the shower and they genuinely fall in love with each other, they could just stop being heroes tomorrow, right? The Guardians of the Globe imploded because of Cecil's actions, and we're about to talk into that now, but Cecil's job is really hard. He's always having to do the hard thing and make the hard decision, and sometimes he buckles under the pressure. Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't? So, do I believe Cecil is evil? No. Wholeheartedly, I do not. Do I believe Cecil is morally wrong? Yeah. But you know what I do believe too? Cecil Steadman is unethically just. He is a good man. He's just trying to save lives. He has a beef with control, and when he can't control things, things go south. Such as when he revealed to Mark that the Reanimen and Darkwing have been rehired when they were fighting Doc Seismic. Mark went apeshit and immediately killed one of the Reanimen, just like Cecil killed Force Fist and Knucklebuster. Because of this, I feel like Cecil kind of forgot himself along the way of that conversation, because a conversation can go further than a fight. And solving things with violence, although violence is an answer, it's typically not the right answer, but it can be an effective answer, and it was effective because he proved to Mark that, hey, You got to face consequences for the shit you do, little dude. So what did he do? Beep! And just completely fried Mark's brain with the chip. Mark then started wasting the Reanimen. Afterwards, he flew away. Cecil should have just let him fly away. He knew damn well where Mark was going, which was to the Guardians of the Globe, to have a little chit-chat with them. Cecil should have gone there, and they all should have talked about the use of the Reanimen and about the use of Darkwing and this and that, but they should have talked. The fact that Cecil couldn't see that, it's just him making a mistake. It's a pretty big mistake, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that wasting the talent, just like Director Radcliffe once told him, was a bad idea, especially in the case of Darkwing. Everybody deserves, a chance at redemption. Now, do I think does Darkwing specifically deserves it? Not really, but using a tool to better the world for the time being, it's kind of coming with the territory now when, again, you have Invincibles and Omni-Men and Anissas and Conquest showing up, and there's not really anything the Earth can do about it. Their strongest bring the hammer down merely gave Omni-Man a headache. 5 minutes tops, right? He crossed the line, right? He proved Mark wrong. Mark should have never trusted Cecil fully, and Mark proved Cecil wrong. Cecil should have never trusted Mark fully. Mark couldn't handle seeing the Reanimen, which Cecil should have compensated for. And this could have been solved with a conversation, in my opinion. Mark, sure, he wasted a couple hundred Reanimen or whatever, but Cecil, you're already using them, dude. You gotta learn to relax, right? And what did it serve to have the Guardians of the Globe quit? Because Immortal, Black Samson, Duplicate, and Shapeshift are not enough to stop the Mahler twins. Like, they couldn't even do that right, And because of that, the ensuing argument afterwards of Invincible and the younger Guardians of the Globe versus the older Guardians of the Globe and Cecil, right? So Black Samson, Immortal, Duplicate, they all believe that Cecil was correct because Mark needs punishment. He needs to face some consequences. But the younger Guardians of the Globe understood Mark already had a punishment. He got his brain fried. He got beat to death, half to death by the Reanimen. What else? What other point do you need to prove? Call it off, dog. Let's just talk about it now. Like, Cecil fucked up. I think that's the only time he's fucked up is by frying Mark's brain a second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth time. It should have just been the one, and you should have let him go talk, because at the end of the day, you would still have Immortal, Black Samson, Duplicate, and Shapesmith, at least. And you know what? I genuinely believe Rudy would not have left with the Guardians of the Globe, and I think that would have encouraged a couple of the other ones to stay too. Maybe they could have talked some sense into Rexplode. So long as Mark could get the chip removed out of his head and Cecil said sorry, things would have been hunky-dory. But Cecil's job got in the way of logic. And that's why I just wanted to make this video about Cecil's unethical justice. He's not evil. I genuinely don't think so. And bearing any type of spoilers for the future of the comic book and the show, don't worry, they're not in this video. I just want to say one last thing. Bad guys reform, and good guys forget what they're fighting for. That's just how it works. Also, what he did to Donald was kind of messed up, but I guess Donald asked for it, so we don't need to go into that. I love you, Donald. I love you, Rick. You guys are great characters. I'm glad they rebuilt you, even if it was hard to live with. Cecil, he's a good guy, but Black Samson, Immortal, and Duplicate, the three of you need to shut the fuck up, because y'all know what you're talking about. And Cecil knew he was wrong at the end of that argument. Unethical justice, Cecil Steadman. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Relevant links in the bio. Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to talk about Invincible-wise, because I think the next video might be on just the man himself, right? Anyways, appreciate all the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. If you can do either of those for me, that helps the channel out a lot. Thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it.